Kazangpla and welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. First, the top stories this week. Their Majesties graced the Purte ceremony of His Holiness the late J. Tizur. Relocation of Phuntsling students next year meets with mixed reactions. And family-related issues, the most common stress among young people. Now the details. His Majesty the King, His Majesty the Fourth Gyalpo and members of the royal family graced the Purte ceremony of His Holiness the late J. Tizur in Panacha on Tuesday. His Holiness the J. Khenpo presided over the ceremony of scattering the sacred ashes into the mochu.
Monks said prayers early in the morning to mark this special day. Later, His Majesty the King, His Majesty the Fourth Gyalpo and His Holiness the J. Khenpo scattered the sacred ashes in the mochu. The relics quarry were finally taken to the Machilhaga in the Zong. The Purjang of His Holiness the late J. Tizur was held on 7th of this month, coinciding with the descending day of Lord Buddha at the courtyard of Punta Dewachimbipoda. The sacred ashes Purtel was kept inside the Purkang until now. His Holiness the late J. Tizur from Wantifoda served as chief abbot from 1986 to 1990 and passed away peacefully on 8th April this year at his residence at Tangu Dodena in Thimphu. He was 96. For Chenga Doji in Punaka, Pupkiem for BBC News.
A Salang tender ceremony for a drinking water project at Gumageok in Panacha was held coinciding with the 65th birth anniversary of His Majesty the Fourth Gyalpo. The Tsulalabin of the Central Monastic Body presided over the ceremony. This water project in Panacha is the first pilot project the Desung volunteers are undertaking as part of the Desung National Service.
Inspired by the royal address of His Majesty the King to the nation on 12th September 2020, the Desups volunteered their services in developing water projects considering its importance to the people and the nation. The pilot project will help address the drinking water problem in the three Chioks of Pulingsum, Chailthara Tashijong and Tochariza. The drinking water will be sourced from the Jabab Minchu stream and will supply drinking water to 258 households, benefiting about 1,800 people. Over 30 Desups were engaged to set up the field camp infrastructure at the site. Further, 70 Desups, guided by the district engineers, will construct the drinking water infrastructure that will consist of an intake structure, 2 transmission lines and 2 reservoirs.
다 추디때 다 김보다디 도로 가데베 베루트베 자디때 가제 라 카에신 추디 마짱 추로 오통 골라 추메브다 테테라치 마플레라 추메바 데빌랑아 지나로
때다 농 셈제 파바자 미에 트니메바 테테가 남서 나 도르베베니라 멜로로 제르 때다 로초로치 아세 야게조 때다 미베레 야게조 말라 때다 추베레 추디베와 진짜 로초로치 껌멜라 다 껌이 같이면서 와신 때다 야 추위깔에 거의 카르 코차베레 아치지 이 마라 땡가차나 베레 공마마 베레 때는 로치오 로치 때 아니 베깔레 세부좀라
다레 베와칭아차 로가담로 추 충쿠추이라 땡기 디기토바 땅 드렌 추루 번차 베오당아치 미조 툼맘베 벤디기 랑라미 소블라라네디 데 아니디 다 말란디가치 아치레 담추 안주미 미디술 아치 진레 키 데 말라미다니 베로 톤돌라 소소 테베게 양아치라
Kumagap Ugin Khandu said the project, being part of the Desung National Service, eased the financial burden on the Geok administration for resolving its community's perennial problem.
아직 개혁이 가톨릭의 라베 정하기 가톨릭은 배보하신 다디나로 tender the Sutan Yama Boda Twindi also Pajang Juila. Tarerona, Majara Myonga Bochigi, the legal Chigi Babation, Kantaki, tender the Sultan, the Zumekache, Dumova Beteta, Laero Kara, the Sungi Katulebe, the Labimi Sukara Kungi Japurna, Bebodolo, the Tamachara Lai, Joktabe Josubi Kaluni Bosum the Longache, Sedolo and Musuma, the Nuntabe Pentos of Chisishunila.
According to the Director General of Desung Tashitopke, this second project will also be piloted in Semjonggyok of Tsirang within this month. Based on the experience gained from the pilot projects, the Desung office will work with the rural government to see how Desups can render their services to the nation during the times of difficulty due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 42nd batch of Desups who received specialized training in water services can volunteer for the series of water projects that will be jointly identified with the rural government and launched by December 2020. For Changa Doji in Panacha, Sonamongdi, PBS News.
Nicotine replacement therapy such as nicotine gum and patches will now be available in pharmacies. Catering to the needs of people wishing to quit smoking or chewing tobacco, the Bhutan Narcotics Control Authority introduced the medication.
Although 23.9% of Bhutanese consume tobacco, the Global Youth Tobacco Survey Bhutan 2020 shows that more than 8 in 10 tobacco users wanted to stop using tobacco. The nicotine replacement therapy, which is a substitution in a form of gum and patches, will help those smokers with withdrawal symptoms and cravings.
Since it is going to be a replacement therapy, means we are lowering the nicotine content slowly in the form of gum, so that people will be able to quit tobacco and tobacco products. So it can be smoking, it can be chewing, So any tobacco, any form of tobacco will have all those health hazards. And the health hazard is not just by nicotine. Health hazard is because of the other chemicals that is there.
The BNCA is of the opinion that availability of nicotine substitutes will encourage tobacco users stop its consumption.
This gum and patch will be much cheaper for a tobacco user if they want to substitute it, and then it's just a matter of 2 months, then you don't need to, you will not continue with that habit. Then the second thing is that since we are providing just now as a free supply to help and to see that how much compliance we will have from the people, so we will be providing free.
To ensure an effective result of the therapy, the authority will also train pharmacists on counseling. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization recently reported that tobacco users are more likely to get infected with the coronavirus and recommends quitting the habit. Sengishisong for BBS News.
Some 2,400 students of Phuntsling will be relocated in other districts for the 2021 academic year. The Education Minister J.B. Rai said the decision comes after the recommendation from the National Task Force. Phuntsling is considered a high-risk area for COVID-19.
Only students in classes 7 to 12 will be moved out of Phuntsling.
Class yes in sera na jani chibi wachin kali chini misala. Tatu sinse alu pam chikara devani alu kai chunko be demi songs nongala.
Ache pam disu ta chagi di ngajim chira jene bado te ngai nabsane pam beshinda atra alu randa chika jani digi nale ta ya babdol achi chagi di la shira baumela.
But whatever it is, the decision is already made for safety reasons.
The lobdanalu, the pump sugi, the koragi, the tab the hinda, tidigibe, the kate koragi alusu, subachindaga, damji, go up holufini, shunibin. Dina deninale, daro, the lanjulu yudiwaj, my ship maton be, to lanzu yubachin, tengajelenkai katanale, daro sarabe digibe, jankalopa, tanigi, tengajina kahara mapa dirty.
However, the Education Minister said there will be a certain limit on the seat availability in a particular school. but the primary students are going nowhere.
The Nijile the Mongpon yang ha, Kadibetong, my ship lit the give much apostle Betosagi, the Homa, the Lobrim, Tsungagi Alusulu Ben, the Hora, the Nachigi, the Nale, Zadika Debechabosowachin, Alusu, the Pa, Totogi Lobda, Zodigibe, the Hanara, Consiga Junimila.
Education officials will be also visiting Finsoling soon to remodel and construct the facilities for the primary students and teachers. With additional information from Sonom Penjo, Sringzam, BBS News.
The Pemagasil Dzongkhok Tsogdu approved the expansion of Kodakpa Gypsum Quarry in a recent sitting. Although the matter was tabled during the last two sessions, it did not get through. The Department of Geology and Mines could not arrange a presentation to the Tsogdu's members regarding the social responsibility as well as the quarry's benefits to the community after the extension.
The Dzongkhok Tsogdu approved the quarry's extension by 23.1 acres after a thorough discussion. The members also asked the Department of Geology and Mines to include a local government member and a district administration official in the board as people's representatives. During the discussion, the department presented the details of gypsum deposit at the site and also the advantages and disadvantages of extending it. The members expressed concerns that ranged from the legislation to impacts on the community to way forward.
Ele chaju nambi shuma chamchi ngaji zongo sodulebe tebe nawo de tedo chibe wachin tigidi amisi sulu kemin bomera chuni meshin ta we for nalu tundi leshumji benigi dele ngachi gabdi se na chiga de te kora sadle kunga kobi isindi jin tenga chigi we for tube ma tube chame ma same ga tenga chigi leshumi tundi beshina chaju dubachin mitaga ase tato ngachi leshum mashi 함동 나루가 지기 자주 동안진 몽벌은 같이 미시지수 나오나 동어투도 아니 티가니 비나 갑 아니 데비가노 아니 팀이 아니 수 데비가로디 자주 죽다노 봐 사고디 자키 베베 종기 보러가 힘이 벌어 데 종기 보러가 해더루 종 bomshan지 잡에 나 좀 참이기 존대기 가더래 빌딩 잡다루 게세 라린 탑다루 게세디기 몽 나로 빌딩 지소로 내기 미용가세 디 나 보통 지속이 가더래 입색지까지 배가세 다 달나부터 가는 같이 람디 남섬이 좋더시라 별나 같이 칼교기 미시디스나 코탁벌이 개우치 내가 지기 칼교만 스위스 슈미라 칼교기 미시디스 공법배워 잘하면 쉽게 되지라 지용하기 미시디스 가라 니놈매가 태어나를 거대고 배스 슈미라 로트 지답디베서 지로 태우기베 내가 지기 태우고지 레주메 페마술라 세세지나 답디베서 내가 지기 망일도 미스벨라 신대시 마치기 네토 domradis 마치기 수디베서 주로 대우기 병아치 간에 베미스벨라 때 안디 술래 남섬 투신하고 베스슈니라.
The senior program officer of the Department of Geology and Mines explained that Kodakpa's gypsum quarry and the dolomite mines in Samsi have huge deposits. And for such sites, the department set a few priorities for concerned communities in the Mines and Minerals Bill.
Hamgip tisulula tamchi ngachigi CST tidilu tetmachigi priority CS kolu netik be ngachigi market secondary market na member be kolu nangope chiani telen khungi juadia development of infrastructures ngachigi like that dinalo oasida telen disumela tindimi ngachigi teaching disula shesari rebota suduwala 안수요 같이 sharing of infrastructure 공기자 미디어 공기 주의기 남진나는 보기는 반이는 걸 나라는 좀 있어요.
The Kodakpa gypsum mine was discovered in 1960 with a deposit of almost 26 million metric tons in an area spanning over 60 acres. Its extraction started in 1983. Today, the SMCL, through its principle of broad-based benefit sharing with the community, is operating the mine. Its 2-year temporary lease period ends this December. For Teledoji in Pemakatsil, Sonomongdi, PBS News.
Anybody can take up farming. That's at least what it looks like for now. Educated youth and urban dwellers who are interested in farming will now have access to all the necessary skills and knowledge required for farming. And this is made possible through a recently developed application, Crop Advisory. The online-based app currently has all the know-how information on tomato, chili, cabbage and cauliflower.
Developed by the Agriculture Ministry and Sunrise Computer Software in India, the mobile application contains information on crops including nursery management, field preparation and pests control. The instructions are based on video contents, texts and pictorial representation. According to the ministry, it was developed for interested youth in particular to help them with all the farming processes.
Something like this app would be very useful if they do not have any prior experience or prior knowledge about agriculture farming. This was there in the plan a long time ago, and in fact this was commanded by His Majesty the King that we need some kind of information, some kind of a tool which our people can use, especially the youth and the people who dwell in urban areas.
The ministry also plans to include other crops in the app. As of today, over 30 individuals have registered and downloaded the application. The app is available only on Android phones for now. This is Sri Nandup, BBS News.
Family-related issues are the most common stress that young people today face. According to the statistics with the government, more than 200 young people between the age group of 10 and 24 sought counseling services over the helplines between March and August this year.
Chadurema is a professional counselor with the National Commission for Women and Children. In a day, she attends to at least 3 calls from young people seeking counseling service on the Commission's helpline. She says, in most cases, it is the children who are witnessing some form of domestic violence in their homes.
They call us to seek our support. We have some children calling us because they are bullied or are harassed in school. The first thing we do is assess the child's situation. We see if the child is in a safe place. We advise them to stay in a safe place.
Between March and August this year, 156 young people between the age group of 15 and 19 called the helplines of NCWC and Career Education and Counseling Division's Sherik Online Counseling. They were seeking counseling support for mental health issues such as family-related issues, stress, anxiety, addiction, substance abuse, depression and emotional distress. Dr. Tunchu Doji says this could be because that is a transitioning stage for children from adolescence to adulthood, which is bound to stress them out. But what is more worrisome, he says, is the fact that most of these young people who called the helplines cited family issues as the cause of stress.
Counseling children, if you don't touch the parents, because in our clinical mental health, we always say children are a symptom of a family dysfunction. So if the father and mother is always fighting or they are violent, children will be affected sooner or later and they will show the symptoms and then they are brought to the hospital. But what is the cause of the problem? The cause of the problem are the parents. And unless, of course, we address the parents' problems, just touching the children is just giving a symptomatic treatment because we have not addressed the root problem.
The NCWC and the CECD say they assess the cases and then refer if it is beyond their capacity to handle. However, Dr. Tunchu Doji says there should be a holistic approach to addressing the root cause for young people's mental health issues.
In situations where the risk is high, we go for home assessment. In doing so, we look beyond the child's problem. We assess the family background because in certain cases, there are underlying problems within the family which triggers the child's problem. Then we try sort the issues of both the child and the family.
While we provide service online and we do this assessment, and then if we find that it is beyond our capacity and that we have to refer to other relevant agencies, of course we ask for their demographic details and then we do the referral.
As a holistic approach, the National COVID-19 Mental Health and Psychosocial Response Team have proposed for the Health Ministry and the Education Ministry to sign a Memorandum of Understanding. The MOU proposes to allow school counsellors to reach out to the communities to delve into the root causes of mental health issues of students by going beyond counselling services in schools. It also proposes that mental health facilitators in hospitals across the country to train the school counsellors on various aspects of clinical management of mental health issues. Pugiem for BBS News.
The most remote geok in Gaza, Lunana, will become a little closer to its town with the construction of 15.5-kilometer long farm road from Sefu Geok in Wangdafodrang. Today, it takes 7 days on foot to reach the geok.
Lunana Geok is spending some 7 million ngitam to build the road from Sefu Geok. It is being constructed from Busu Zeri Chiok. This is the place where 7 days walk begin for the people of Upper Lunana. The farm road will cut the journey by 2 days. Lunana is located at an altitude of some 3,800 meters and it remains cut off for almost 6 months due to snow. And that is the time when locals stock goods for winter.
공바 찍자 죽자 니슈다 따베와치 숨자기 돈디데 날에 탑디기베 조고 세슈니라 다니 베와레 땡디기베 마치기 돌람님 니디날로 데다 세미디기베 미다 셈체디솔로 땡아지라기 디날로 까두디소 다도 순적일 난커날로 델로잘레체디 뇽 딘도 세슈니라 다따리 아니 땡아지라기 중기 카톨레 잡절디소 나미기 카칼 하버도 가지라 zon커니기 카톨레 잡절 남레 땡디기베 데 셈체 데다 숨자데치기 데게와디소 디넬레 둡소베 세슈니라.
The road is crucial since they don't grow crops in the cold mountains.
로치기 난크나로 땅아체라 날에야 총티 지지리 조고 세슈니라 다다 총티 지디 땅아치기 날에 깰딘데서 베이캅솔로 땅아체라 따리기 뚜르니 동압자데리 쥐디기베 묘달로 대쇼티 지나로 대다 지나라 대입증아체라 대다 동타 구추삼데치 조인베세 따이기 라차기라 다니 베월레 땐디기베테서 소라 치디기 가치르기 따이기 라차기 개펜다.
Al-Sokba said the road might bring in more illegal cordyceps collectors.
다도 선서 거래라 미디기베 베서처래 대야서 gemob디기 디날로 아오고미드슬라 때 팀길기 라베미드스 드라미나 소베 오멜라 때 거래 람치된다베 간에다 다히마 미르기 자리 톱살레 때 팀길기 라베밀레샤 텐베비 이걸레 미르기 잉압조에 마소베 때 마합조이 간에 네바데 bom시드라니 고도라.
But the road will not only benefit people amongst the glaciers but also people in Wangdi. For Changadoji in Wangdifodra, Sringdandup, BBS News.
Truckers are calling for a need to set up restrooms and a place to eat in Gilifo Mini Dry Port. They say today they're not allowed to come out of their vehicles until they're escorted back to Darachu in Serang.
Trucks ferrying goods have to spend a night here at Darachu. They will be escorted by 7 the next morning to Mini Dry Port in Gilifo and back to Darachu. These groups of drivers just returned from Gilifo after more than 12 hours since they departed from Darachu in the morning. Gilifo is more than 70 kilometers away from Darachu in Serang.
We are confined in our vehicles while in Gilifo. It would be convenient for us if concerned authorities could set up a separate area to eat lunch and restrooms for us. Moreover, waiting the whole day without a toilet is a problem for us.
The chapsachi jogo noroe chapsabe sagome ba namsun kangil themmel
tani pekchap be jimbe garnas ani baji.
We would be grateful if we get packed food while we are in vehicles. We can't take any food from here since the lone restaurant doesn't open by 7 a.m. We would be also grateful if police and Gypsum could escort us while going for toilets.
However, the escort service which started on Wednesday is helping the truckers.
With an escort, it is little convenient for us at the moment. Earlier, we had to wait in queue for hours to unload our consignments in Khenpo. Now we can do it immediately as escorts take us to designated areas.
About 20 vehicles leave for Khenpo from Darachu every day. For Panacha in Tirang, Samton Dolker, PBS News.
And this brings us to the end of this week's edition of the News Magazine program. Until next time, I'm Cheku, signing off. Only for now.